Hi everyone, it's Anisa, and I'm a hypnotherapist and holistic healing practitioner, specializing in transformations for anyone wanting to go from toxic relationship attraction to divine relationships. And I wanted to answer a question. So, what are the top signs of an emotionally abusive person? Many times we aren't educated on this. We don't get taught in school what emotional abuse is. We learn other forms of abuse, like physical abuse, which we can see and we feel physically. But there are other very subtle types of abuse that are a bit more harder to recognize and even harder to talk about because we don't know the signs. You might, if you're in the situation, firstly, this is really hard to hear. And the toughest thing is seeing the fact of what's happening with someone that you love or someone that you're in a relationship with. And this can be a family member, this can be parents or siblings or other relatives, and this can be your romantic partner. The first step is really hard to see certain behaviors as abusive because abuse sounds like such a big word. However, if that's what's happening, it really helps to face the truth. So let's get right in. So, in an emotionally abusive relationship, you are made to feel absolutely extreme amounts of guilt. And guilt is often the driver of the things that you'll do for this person. So, the fact that you might be a really nice person and a very kind person, this actually is a huge opportunity for the other person to manipulate your feelings of guilt to get you to do certain things for them. So guilt is used as a tool in an emotionally abusive relationship with an emotionally abusive person. They understand that they can get more yeses from you than a no because you might be someone who's really kind and really giving and just doesn't really have those boundaries to say no and to stick to it. They know that you'll eventually give in, that your feelings of guilt will override all other things, and eventually they will get their way from you. They will get energy, time, money, love, whatever they need from you, they will get it because you will feel so guilty. The second thing is they have different masks for different situations. So in private, around the settings, around the people that they are emotionally abusing, they have a different mask. They have a different face that they put on. And then around others in public, they have a completely different persona. So maybe with their family, they might be really selfish, they might be really inconsiderate, they wouldn't help you or have any empathy for what you're doing, they might not show any interest in you, or they might even put you down and insult you. They might call you really bad names in private. And then outside in public, they might be this really wonderful person who's very charming, giving, and considerate and successful. And people might think, wow, this is a really great person. And the big problem with this is the people that are being emotionally abused, they can't actually feel safe in speaking out about it because this person has created different masks. And so the person being emotionally abused feels alone and stuck and wonders if they're going crazy because everyone else likes this person, but they're seeing this horrible version of them in private. That is a big sign of an emotionally abusive person. Number three, again, they have this completely different way of being and different way of being around you. So sometimes people in an emotionally abusive relationship, they will feel really bad when they're in private, but then they go outside and they get showered with love and affection, and they start to think that maybe this person is really nice, or maybe they did something and triggered that person in private, but they're actually a really nice person. No, this is something that an emotionally abusive person does. It's a hallmark of theirs. They have a completely different face for strangers. They will be super kind to other people that they don't even know, but they will treat you, their nearest and dearest, like absolute crap. Yeah. The fourth thing is isolation. So, an emotionally abusive person will seek to isolate you. Because when you're isolated, when you don't have a support network, when you feel weak and alone and your self-esteem is down, maybe you don't have a job, maybe you quit your job and maybe you just wanted to dedicate yourself and your life to this person, and they've isolated you from your friends, they've isolated you from everything that you love, because when you do things that you love and you're around people that you love, you have confidence, you have support. So when they've isolated you and you feel really, really weak and dependent on them, that's when they can open the door to emotionally abuse you even further. So isolation is one of the top techniques of an emotionally abusive person. Now, the last thing that is one of the top signs of an emotionally abusive person is they completely ignore your feelings. They don't care how you are. They're not going to ask you how you're doing. And even if you do, they don't want a real answer. They don't want to know if you're sad. If you're sad and if you're unhappy, that's just too much for them. They don't want to hear it. They don't want to do anything about it. They actually don't care. They don't care what you're going through. And this is a really hard pill to swallow. An emotionally abusive person is often so disconnected with your emotions. They don't want the burden of knowing that you're not happy, you're not thriving in this relationship, that you're feeling feelings that are, very heavy. To them, it's just too much, and they're not concerned with anything to do with your life or your emotions. However, they expect you to tiptoe around theirs, to make sure that you are not going to say no to them, that you're not going to make them unhappy. So it's this really funny and weird dynamic. On one hand, they don't care about your emotions, but on the other hand, they need and want you to really revolve around what they're feeling and how they're doing. So that's my top 5 for what emotionally abusive signs are. And if you're in this kind of relationship, I just want to let you know that I run one of the first transformation blueprints that focuses on going from toxic relationship patterns to inviting a divine relationship in with yourself first and attracting this outside in the universe, because everything starts within. Know the signs, educate yourself, and then empower yourself. That's the best thing that you can do. Sending you so much of love and blessings. Take care.